Straw Hut Media.
Hi, I'm Rizwan Manji, and I'm gonna tell you, please, don't be alone with Jake Hogan.
Don't be alone with Jake Hogan.
Hi, and welcome to Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan. I'm Jake Hogan, and this is a show where I get interesting and smart people to work out my own personal problems. Hopefully, we can grow closer in the process. As I say, if you don't know me, I'm a writer, comedy writer, performer, and philosopher, and now pod show host. That is a very exciting thing to be because that's where the big money is these days, podcasting. You can see the podcasting. I built this studio on top of a penthouse because podcasting's everything. It's a billion dollar idea. Today, we're going to be talking with a great actor and performer, and a guy I worked with for many years. His name's Rizwan Manji, and he is just really smart, very interesting guy. He's Canadian. Please forgive him. I think he was born in Ontario and then raised in Calgary, and some of the funniest people I know are from Calgary. So he's already starting there. Great. I wanted to talk with Riz about being in a box. Like, people know me for some things, but I'm trying to be other things. And how do you break out of that box? How do you get unlabeled or relabeled something else? Like, I'm an actor. Nobody hires me for acting. I'm a comedian, sort of. But you know, people think of me mostly as a writer, somebody who can be behind the camera, even though I spent years in front of the camera. People know me as a comedy writer. I want to write drama stuff. And so when I write drama stuff, people look at me funny. And I wrote a historical drama, and my agents were like, what is this? This isn't what you normally do. And so they put it in a drawer and said, we can't sell this. Well, maybe they couldn't sell it because it was horrible, but maybe they couldn't sell it because that's not the kind of stuff that people expect from me. So I want to open the doors to possibilities for me and for all of us. So I want to talk about that with Riz, who is South Asian and has had to break down a lot of doors himself. I also want to ask you, if you've got any suggestions or questions, feel free to write to me at dbawjaykogen@gmail.com. That's dbawjaykogen@gmail.com. I take listener questions, and we do a question at the end of every show, so please write in with your questions, but your comments, your suggestions, anything else. I like to get to know you and keep in contact with you. So we'll hopefully talk soon. Anyway, now here's the conversation I had with Riz.
Don't be alone with Jake Hogan.
I am so thrilled to have one of my favorite actors of all time join us. Rizwan is one of the greatest actors, greatest people. I met you on a pilot we did many years ago, and it was just a small bit for me. It was for a pilot. It was like I wrote it as an afterthought, kind of as a thing, and it was such a starring role. It was such a magical piece that you made the pilot so much better than
sweet.
What it started out to be, just because of who you are as an actor, as a funny guy, as a thoughtful person. The audience will know you from Schitt's Creek, Perfect Harmony, The Magicians, Outsourced, Charlie Wilson's War. Oh my God.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
and one of the things I was shocked at, I tuned in, because I'm a total nerd, to see Beauty and the Beast 30th anniversary, and then there you were, singing and dancing.
Yes, and I am not a singer or a dancer, so the fact that happened online, on live television, is something I can say I did it. That's amazing.
Turns out you are a singer and dancer.
Turns out I can do something.
All right. So Rizwan, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So I have a good topic for today, but I also just wanted to, before I went, the topic, I'll go with the topic, because the topic, and then we'll talk about why I think you're the great guy to talk about it. Awesome. So the topic is this. I started out as an actor, and when you start out as an actor, young, I was 16 years old, kind of chubby, Jewishy guy. So there's a call out for, the chubby Jewishy guy friend, and you go to the call, and there's 40 of me sitting in a room. There's just chubby guys with, baseball caps and blue shirts all sitting in a room. That's the type, right? But I never got called for the other type. for something other than that. And now that I've been a comedy writer for many years. I've been a sort of a stand-up comedian performer for a while. And now I'm trying this thing, which is weird, podcasting, to jump into podcasting well after it's too late to be a podcaster, which is a perfect time. I'm trying to figure out, how do I convince the world that there's more to me than what they thought? So if there's a, just a label that people want to paste on me, it's Jake Hogan, comedy writer, or they don't really think of me as an actor. They don't think of me as a comedian. No, friends aren't calling me up to do parts anymore so much. So I'm just a comedy writer. But I wrote drama. I write movies, and people think of me as a TV comedy writer. They think of me in a very limited sense. And how can I expand the worldview of who people think I am, or what people think I can be? And this doesn't go just for show business. It's also like my friends. They'll invite me to a poker game, but they won't invite me to a ballet. They'll invite me to certain things, but not other things. And so I'm asking you this because you are very versatile, in a million ways. And people don't necessarily know you're Canadian. People don't necessarily know, that you went to drama school. They don't necessarily know that your gifts, if they've seen you in dramas, they don't know how funny you are. And if they've seen you in comedies, they don't know that you can play drama. And no one knew that you could sing and dance.
Exactly.
So like you've stretched it out in what you could be pigeonholed in a very tiny hole. And I think you're pushing the boundaries of who you are.
Well, it's really funny that you're asking me this, because I was literally just thinking about this. Because as much as it feels like I have done different things in my world, I feel like I'm in the same boat as you. Like the comedy stuff is, because we'll talk about the business first, right?
Right.
The comedy stuff is, now that I have, with Schitt's Creek and the other stuff that I've done, if there's a comedy thing that's looking for, where you're saying, you said Jewish, I'm saying somebody brown that may have a mustache. Right. Where I think we're literally very similar, but we're in like, I'm just brown, than you are.
Sure.
And so that's
after a good day in Palm Springs, I can compete a little bit. I can compete.
So now I'm going to see you at audition.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I have one more person to compete against. But they'll see me for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I've been having a very, very hard time with the dramatic stuff.
Okay.
And I've done it. Like that's what I started off doing. And there's been a lot of stuff that's come up. Actually, a movie that I ended up doing, I got so much pushback to the point where they were like, no, like at every level they were like, he's not right for this, and it was because it was a dramatic
pushback
role.
from the executives,
from like
who?
So it ended up happening that there was an executive that was like, look, we love him, we should get him. And then I think it was even to the point where the director and some of the other producers who were like, no, we don't see that, because in their minds they're like, he's this like bumbling guy from Schitt's Creek. And so it was very hard for me to convince them. Even when you're doing, like, you can show, like, you can be like, here's my tape, here's the stuff. You can show them that you're. I think it's very hard for people to take something, and Schitt's Creek now has been seen by so many people, to get that character out of somebody's mind is very hard.
Were these auditions in person or on tape?
It's all very recent. I mean, this stuff has been happening my whole career since like Outsourced, when the funny guy came in.
But I mean, this particular movie
it was through a Zoom, because it's all but
Zoom live and with people, like you can take directions.
That's right. That's right.
I feel like the interaction is the trick to show everybody, oh my God, whatever my expectations were.
That's what I thought. Yeah. But I think it's hard for people to separate I don't know. That's what I mean, now I'm asking you to help me out instead of me helping you out.
Hey, we are sharing this together. That's the whole point of this. It's called Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan, so we're not alone.
Yeah, that's good.
That's the whole point. I do think that, like, I miss that in auditions. I miss just seeing a tape of somebody, not being able to say, can you do it again, but with this twist or this, like, you can see the creative vibe, if you will, of person. Like if I ask you to do a new choice and then you come up with a new interesting choice, like that may not be the choice I want, but I can see the wheels turning. This guy's got it. This guy I can work with. This guy will add and grow and become something with me, and that is everything. So that's
wasn't it similar? Like we're talking Bryan Cranston, right? Wasn't there a similar thing with that with Breaking Bad?
Oh, 100%,
right? Because they weren't able to take him out of the mid. They were it was Malcolm in the Middle. They weren't able to get that out of
people.
Their
thought
head.
He could only be Hal, and the Breaking Bad people said,
and they kept saying no and kept saying no, even after I was like, what kind of audition? I mean, he was so amazing in it. That what kind of audition did he give with? They were still giving him pushback because it's like that thing, and I feel like that's the part. That's the goal that you have to figure out. Like, how do you change that?
They get Bryan Cranston. They're dreaming of getting Kevin Costner. They're dreaming of getting a star. Saying Bryan Cranston, he's not going to be a star. Like, not realizing that television makes stars and television creates stars. It doesn't just trade on stars. I mean, it's one of the problems with the movies now is there's no stars left. It's like
now it's
TV isn't churning up enough stars and movies aren't creating enough stars. But you say you got this part.
I ended up doing it. I won't because I don't want to like rat out people. Right. But now how do I do it without? But the movie is I honestly feel it is. Personally, I feel like it was some of my best work.
That's great,
and I feel really good about it.
Well, no one will know what it is because you do your great work in everything, so we can just assume. And look, at the end of the day, they ended up taking a chance on me. Right. Despite all of this, every job. Every job they're taking a chance on you, right?
That is true.
They take a chance on me every job, and sometimes I fulfill the hope and the promise, and sometimes I disappoint. I hope I disappoint less than the fulfilling time.
But I didn't know you were a poker player. With this all I kept thinking was, I had a poker game last night. Like, if you play poker, you need to come and play poker.
I'll play. I'm playing tonight. Of course, I'll come play.
Oh my God. Okay, so we need to play poker.
I would love it. I play stupid games and I play serious games and I play everything.
That's the thing that some people don't like it. So we don't do just Texas Hold'em.
Yeah.
We do Dealer's Choice.
Great.
And people pick up like crazy games.
I have
But see, I didn't know that about you. I probably would have invited you to a ballet before I would have invited you to a poker.
No, but I mean, that's the thing. I think we all put each other in little boxes, and that's just what we do. I mean, a little while ago, a few years ago maybe now, you came to me with a writing idea.
Yes.
And I thought, well, I didn't know he was a writer, but why not? You know, like you
were actually very positive about it.
Yeah,
you were like, look, Riz, because I was like, I need somebody to write this for me, and you were like, Riz, I think you can do this, which was really
right. But I mean, the truth is, I started as an actor and a stand-up comic, and then I became a writer, and then the boxes for me in my own mind are less firm for me, and hopefully I'm a little bit more open with other people too about that. But it's human nature to say, oh, that guy is from the Italian restaurant, he must only eat Italian food. It's like your brain makes bad decisions when you try and figure out who people are, and people are constantly making bad decisions about me.
But you know what you just said just made me think of it in another way as well, is that because I came to you and I was like, I can't do this. We might be doing that to ourselves as well. We might be putting ourselves into, like, we're constantly doing that.
Right. Well, I think also I think
imposter syndrome.
Yeah, a little bit. Like if you're not, I don't think necessarily it's impossible for you to be a writer. I think you think it's hard and you don't want to fail at that.
That's
true. And it's scary and that's fear. Yeah. Fear is speaking rather than like I guarantee you. You probably have done it already. I guarantee you can write, you can direct, you act, all the stuff. Well, you've done enough of this to know how all that stuff works, so that you're ready to do it when you want to do it, or have done it already. Have you directed?
I have not.
Okay.
a very long time ago.
Right.
I shot a movie on mini DV,
Okay.
a feature length film.
All right.
Do you remember mini DVs?
Yeah, I do.
And we sold it. So I guess I directed that
Okay,
movie,
great.
but
All right.
this was like
Right. Okay.
So I don't want to call myself a director.
All right, but
we
you-
did do it on mini DV, which is like, you know.
Right. But you're aware of all the things because you made that little movie.
Yeah.
You're aware that if you have a room, if you have a scene where it takes place in a room with a couch and a TV, you have to make sure to get the couch and the TV,
Yeah.
and you have to make sure to get the
That is
actors to
true.
show up on time and make sure that they're wearing something that's not the same color as the couch. You know, and it's like, okay, well, that's mostly what directing is, making sure
That's
that
it. Oh my! Well,
Yeah.
I can do that tomorrow.
Yeah, I know you can. What's the hardest thing then as a brown person?
Yeah.
What's the hardest thing to convince? Have you ever gone up for a part which did not say, you know, an ethnicity or anything and just say like to do it? And did they take any convincing, or was it just, I'm just going to show my humanity and that will be enough?
It still does. It still takes a lot of convincing. It's a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell you that before, like we're talking pre-2010,
The before times.
yeah, there was not, it was all,
Right.
it had to actually be like, we're looking for somebody Indian or South
Right.
Asian. Like that was
Right.
the case. It was, so there was no looking out. Like
Right.
that was the box that you were put in.
There never-
and there was ranges. So like, you know, like you said, you had 40, I would go, but there wouldn't be 40 people who were like sort of Rizwan-y type.
Right.
There was every single brown, Indian, South,
Right.
whatever actor was there.
Right.
And it could be like from 20 to 80.
Right.
And they were like, we're just looking for somebody
Right.
Indian. It's gotten a lot better,
Right.
but it's still, I sometimes feel like, even with, you know, you know how it works with networks, and they had this like, we have this diversity quotient, so now we're gonna, like with NBC, they're like,
Right.
if you have this many series regulars, 2 of them need to be diverse. But what they haven't been doing is having the people that are in the room who are creating it. So somebody, like, say, if I was going to write something, I'm going to write the people that I know. So my dad is going
Right.
to be like, you know what I mean? So a lot of the times, and it's changing, but a lot of times I'd be going in and I'd be reading for something that the writer had written as their white best friend.
Right.
But now the network has said, you need to make that person not. And I would be trying to like, and I was like, I'm never gonna be this guy's friend. Does that make sense? I'm never
Right.
I'm never gonna be what he is,
Right.
because of, so it sometimes feels like it's like putting, what is
Right.
that term? Like putting a square in
Listen,
I don't know
you
what
can
it
be
is.
Joey Greenberg. There's not a problem. You absolutely can be Joey Greenberg, and it's not an issue.
Which is what the part that you wrote for, I thought it was real. It was because you wrote a character that was supposed to be this. It was a different ethnicity, and
Right.
you wrote it that way, and
Mhm.
it was the part of and he came in and it worked, right?
Right,
Like the
right.
rhythm worked, and it was a
Right.
multi-camera comedy. Sometimes you're like, this is not my rhythm, because
Right.
it's written in a different person. This is the guy this guy saw.
Right.
But so what I've done is, and what's worked for me, and I even when I like talk to my actor friends, I'm like, there's something written.
Are they really friends? These actors?
No, because I'm
They
competing with
stab
them,
you
so I
in the
give them
back.
bad advice.
Exactly. You stab each other. Let's be honest. You hate each other.
We kind of do.
Yes.
We kind of
Okay.
do.
Yeah.
But I say you kind of have to go in and be like, I'm gonna do this as it has to be as me, even
Right.
though it's written. And then if it needs to be changed, and I think the first pilot that I ever booked was I did it, and I actually changed the lines, because it was actually written for somebody Vietnamese.
Okay.
And I went in.
Right.
And I'm not Vietnamese. And I changed the lines.
Right.
And they laughed so hard because they were like, oh, this could work this
Right.
way. Because they hadn't thought, you know what I mean?
But you
and then I ended up getting the part.
That's
So
great. But you said the creator's not in the room now. What do you
No.
mean by that? How is a producer, writer, creator not in the room?
no, what do you mean? Like,
You said earlier, like, I'm trying to audition for something to be the creator's best friend, and they're not there.
no, not that they're not there. I'm saying that when they're like, the creator's writing
right.
something.
You can't be that character.
I can't be what he envisioned
You
in
have
his
to be
head.
some
so
other
I have
version.
to be some
Yeah.
other
Yes.
version of it.
Right.
And that's the part that's been the trickiest to sort of.
But why? I guess I would, as a writer, I would say, why couldn't you be Joey Greenberg? In other words,
I guess,
not maybe I'd change the name, but the last name. But I mean, why not be that guy?
I guess I'd ask you. So I'm sure you've written a part, and then network says we want to do it this way. Is it hard for you to then reimagine it that way, or you're sort of like? Sometimes, like, would you push back and be like, no, this, or you're...
Very rarely is it a problem where somebody's background makes them ruin a thing. I mean, sometimes it's a problem now that if I want to have a character who is stupid or money grubbing or something like that, we don't want to put one of the two, ethnic people in that position.
And that's another, and that's a whole nother thing.
So okay, well so then what? Then you have to figure out what was funny about this character. What can we do with this character that make them funny? Because funny comedy comes from flaws.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Where can the flaws be in this person that we can all have fun with and exploit that doesn't come off as racist or So that's something. But wiping that away, because I don't really live in that world. Wiping that away, it's like anybody could be anything. Yeah, like that to me, anybody could be anything, and that works for me. And then
again, it comes back to that same point. It's like maybe it was like I'm better at it, but maybe it was my own insecurities, right? Like it was me going, oh, they're not really looking for me, and then
I would like to have roles where, and we do this all the time, where we say like all ethnicities, we put that on the thing, and we mean that. So if somebody with some ethnic background is willing to play my, the idiot, vain, character,
I'm ready.
Then great. I want to see that person. I want to see that Danny DeVito person of whatever ethnicity. Yeah. I want to see people being able to make fun of themselves in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to have to worry about protecting them because of their background, but I want to universally make fun of everybody.
Yeah.
All writing to me is about those flaws and also their superpowers. The people have flaws and great qualities, and you exploit both in a character.
Yeah.
And then you have something wonderful. But times are touchy.
Yeah. And
I'm aware of that.
And that was also another that you touched on that as well, is that, with all sometimes we get so far in the other direction that we can't play the villain anymore. We can't play the because those are the things that are we get to be the dumb guy, and I get to be the villain, and because we also have flaws. Like we also all of those
things. If I have the handsome young Ajay, then I can have the dumb stupid Riz, and then it was all great. Then it all works. But it's like I do understand why. Perception is if there's one person in the cast of one thing, it's not going to work.
It's very hard
because it's going to seem like we're hitting this one ethnic group in the teeth.
And we also get in, and then there was a whole thing about accents as well, which gets into a situation as well, which was like I actually there's a lot of.
Do you struggle between the Ontario and Calgary accents?
I'm very good at distinguishing.
Okay, good.
But I always feel like I'm okay with doing accents if the joke's not on the accent, if there's an actual truth to it, because I think that there is humor to be had in this, and why should we not use it, and why should we be limited from that? I always go, is there a truth to this person, and is there especially if you're on a show for not just one or two episodes, and is there is this character three-dimensional? I think we almost get caught up on, oh well, this is stereotypical because of this, and sometimes now it's even because I was born in Canada, so now is it okay for Rizwan to do an accent because he was born here? If you're gonna ask me, I'm saying I'm asking, of course, because I mean, if Meryl Streep can do an accent and win an Oscar, why can't I do the accent of my dad? Why am I not allowed to do the accent? And why is that now stereotypical and racist? And why are we not allowed to be funny? And so, but it's a fine line between going, you're the joke, right? Like you're the joke. It's one thing of being part of the joke, and then the joke is on you. Like we're just gonna have this guy come in and do an Indian accent. We're all gonna just laugh at him. That's a difference than actually being a part of the the
Right. Well, I mean, here's an example of so I was on The Simpsons at the beginning of Simpsons.
Yes.
I was part of the group that created Apu.
Yes.
Okay, so Apu,
Oh, yes.
we wrote Apu what we thought was writing with love.
Yeah.
And with care.
Yep.
And we made him a family man with a big family, hard worker, exhausted by running a convenience store. He had his own strange peccadillos and ideas about what America was because he's an immigrant to the country. So, but we thought we were humanizing a character and making him interesting. And turns out that character was hurting a lot of people's feelings.
Yeah.
So we stopped. I was long gone from the show, but they stopped using that character. Certainly, the character was voiced by a white actor, so that was upsetting. And then, in addition to his portrayal, his very existence was bothering enough people.
So I you've seen the documentary? Who Hari Kondabolu?
Right.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the issue with The Simpsons, because it's been the biggest joke between our community. Like we'd always laugh. Like when you'd go into an audition and the casting director would be like, "Can you do an accent?" And we'd be like, "They want Apu from The Simpsons." So we would be like playing. We would all laugh about it. And I think the part that hurt about that was that you had a character. And because it wasn't being voiced by somebody who was part of our community, we could feel no connection to it, right? So we were like, "You're making fun of us," right? And so that's what and that's not to say that Hank Azaria is not an amazing actor and amazing all these things, but to us, it felt like you guys were making fun of us, and that probably was not the intention. But again,
no, it definitely was. We wanted to make people feel horrible. That's what we were trying to do. So thank God you got the message.
We got it.
Message received.
And then a documentary gets made 20 years later.
No, of course we didn't want to do that. Of course we didn't. But
I don't know why they in my opinion, why did they get rid of it and not cast? Why not give that amazing thing now to a South Asian actor who could have done it?
Because it wasn't, the complaints that were heard wasn't just it was being voiced by Hank Azaria, and the reason it was voiced by Hank Azaria at the beginning is because
he was doing a lot of roles.
We had four actors, and they did all the roles.
That's right.
And they did everything.
Yeah.
They played black people, everybody, because we had four actors.
Yeah.
As it came a very going happy
and that's part of our issue as well, right? Like I don't know if the documentary touched on this, but like our problem is that if you did, like, let's say at that time, because we're still talking about, if that would have been gone to India, then the Indian actor could have played multiple, but we couldn't even get into that level, right? Like we couldn't get it. Forget about one of four. We couldn't be in the top 200 list of actors that we're going to be doing.
Understood.
And so that was our only in, and then we lose it, right? And so I think that was what the issue was.
And I think the reason why they just stopped it, because it was not just the voice. It was the portrayal of an Asian man behind the counter of a 7-Eleven. And that is, there aren't other, South Asian characters that populating the show. It's just this one guy, and it's like until we have a bigger population of people, then you don't have just that one guy because it's hurting people's feelings.
Yeah, and that's the thing is and I have to say that it was a very it was a thing that we talked about all the time. The things that if you go to any comedy club, like an Indian stand-up comedy, the two jokes they would have would 100% it would always be Apu from The Simpsons. And why for the longest time, I know they had it later, but why there was no Indians on ER when literally you can't go to an ER without seeing like at least half the population being South Asian. So that was the two jokes that we would have.
So now we're in 2023 going into 2024, and the world has changed a little bit. There is much more struggle to be inclusive, much more, and it's mandated. It's not just a struggle. It's like people want it. Audiences want it, and networks want it, and they think it's commercial, and it's a good idea.
And they're obviously seeing the financial benefits from it as well. I think was the number one show that the number one streaming show for the longest time has been Squid Game, right? Like it's like not even like it's like a global phenomenon.
Right. Well, but that doesn't count because it's not really, that's not a diverse show.
But I'm saying that I use that as an example because it's not the same. We were always accustomed to believe that the same faces are going to sell are going to be the ones, and it's something that you didn't see.
But that's never been true of TV. TV is a place where stars are made, where you create.
Well, they try to have now the big A-list stars are doing TV, so they're still trying to do it.
But I mean, always television used to be at least the place where people on a weekly basis got to know a character, and through that they got to love an actor or actress, and that was how stars were made, and people became huge hit stars. Less so now that people stop watching TV quite as much, and ratings
do you think
are
it's
lower.
because you've seen them all within like the span of 3 weeks instead of over the course of 7 years?
I think because there's too many shows to follow. We don't all, as a community, as a people, we're not all watching Seinfeld anymore. Like,
we're not watching it together.
We're all split up in different places, watching at different times, and it's we don't have that moment where we're all together and we can extol one show and lift it up. Do you think it's not possible to make stars anymore? It is, but one of the things that would help it is doing a weekly, every week at the same time, showing something, so that there's an appointment that people will watch. People get excited about having an appointment to a show. We do binge, but some people, I still haven't seen. There's some shows that, like, I've not seen the greatest shows in the world. I'm trying to think of the one that's.
Ted Lasso?
No, I've seen Ted Lasso. This is the show about crime in Baltimore. That it's a mini series.
Not Homicide.
Not Homicide, but called The Wire.
The Wire.
That was The Wire.
Yes.
Okay, so we could take him back. So I still haven't seen The Wire. The Wire is one of the greatest shows of all time. Everyone says so. It's one of the greatest shows. But at some point somebody binged. We all binged The Wire, and now I could go back and watch The Wire. But I didn't. I haven't. There's too much else to see. So I'm missing one of the greatest shows of all time.
Well, I'll tell you what I haven't watched, and you'll probably be shocked.
What?
Game of Thrones. I have not seen a single episode of Game of Thrones.
I know a lot of people who have not watched the Game of Thrones. It may not be for them.
That was like a big phenomenon.
I've watched all Game of Thrones, and I watched the other House of Dragons. I watch all that stuff. I don't know why I watch it, but I do.
I feel like I need to just have 3 nights and just start watching it.
I guess. I mean, ultimately, if I go back and looked at it again, it's pretty dumb. It really is. It's awfully dumb, and it's like, why did I get involved in this? I think the sort of weird world and hardcore sex brought me in, and then I got involved in the characters as it went on, and then it became less explicit sexually and more like a soap opera.
So just watch the first season.
So I don't know. Certainly don't watch it with the girls. Don't watch it with
my daughters. No,
don't watch it with your daughters. TV is not just TV anymore. It used to be just TV.
Yeah.
Now it's TV, and it's video games, and it's YouTube, and it's TikTok.
And my kids, I don't know. You have.
I have a son. Yeah.
My kids don't even watch TV the way that I watch TV. So they're watching it all on their phones. Right. And a lot of it's like, my kids are not allowed to have TikTok, but it ends up on YouTube Shorts. So that's their and then every now and then they'll watch something like a television show, but it'll be on their little screen. I'm like, how do you watch this? It's very so it's different. It's very.
All right, but this doesn't really answer my big questions. How do I become a big dramatic star?
Oh,
how do I become the?
Well, I have a really good answer for you.
What is that?
I have a really good answer for you. Because you can write yourself into you are a writer and you're amazing. So
but I can't cast myself. I can't cast myself and get it made.
And you can just make sure that you cast me as well. We'll do a buddy a buddy drama, whatever it is, dramedy maybe.
All right. Well, let me ask you this question, because I think one of the keys to your versatility is you imagine a character. You read the part, and then you imagine who that person is.
Yeah.
And then you try to have fun with that idea of that person.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily say, it's me. Now, of course, there are parts of you.
That's right.
But it's sort of like, okay, but it's me plus.
That's right.
It's me plus all these other things. And so how do you bring that creativity to the audition, to that moment?
I have this weird thing, and we have a mutual friend, Hussein, who helps me with my auditions, and he always gets mad at me because I very weirdly will not, I'll read the sides that we get, once. And I'll be like, okay. And then now that it's on.
By the way, there's a part for you on the Hussein, the show that we're doing.
Oh,
so.
I'm ready to be on it. I told him, I said, if you don't cast me, we're not friends anymore.
My friend, our mutual friend Hussein and I are writing a show together. So that's why we're talking about this. Yes, okay.
And then for whatever reason, like right before,
and by the way, everybody, I'm still Jewish, even though I'm okay. I'm okay. This is fine. This is not a kind of situation. This is fine. This is my choice.
So I will like right before we're gonna like tape the audition. I don't know why. It like literally like 30 minutes before I'll look at it and I'm praying, and it usually does that something. Not praying like as but just like something will come to me about this thing, and a lot of the times it works. Like I'll be like, this is the choice, and then I'm really good about making a choice, and then committing to it. Does that make sense?
It totally
and then
makes
sometimes Hussein will be like, this, like, usually it's like, yeah, as long as you make it and you commit to it, and it's not always right, but sometimes you'll be like, try something else because this is not working. But usually I'm like, because at the end of the day, if you're committed to it, it'll work.
The thing also, great actors have this, you have this, which is when you're reading the script, you get the joke. In other words, that's more than half the battle.
And honestly, with multicam, which is honestly my favorite, and I'm so sad that there's not a lot of multicam. But I actually find it, like, when I'm working with people too, I'm like, I find that part easy because I see I'm like, it's like math. I'm like, I get where the joke is going to be. Obviously, it's harder in single camera, but for us, we have sensibility of what's funny and like, where the line is supposed to go.
Pulling back for single camera, to be able to pull back just a little bit to make it real for single camera doesn't seem like that big a task, as long as you still get what's funny.
Yes, but I think it's sometimes, like, I've gotten scripts where like, wait, I don't see where the funny is, and you have to. But with multicam, the
shitty script. That's just a shitty script, and you get plenty of those. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, sometimes we're not we'll get the because I'm not the number one on the call sheet, and they get all the funny lines, and you're like, wait, I have to just be the doctor who says you have cancer, and somehow this isn't a comedy. And so sometimes it is hard.
Okay, so now I have other segments of the show. I must move on. So this is great. So I'm going to go to our next topic, our next thing, which is question time.
It's question time.
So I'm going to give you a question that you're going to pick. So they're written out preconceived questions that are really hard, life questions. And so you have to pick a letter between A and G and a number between 1 and 18. And then I will read the question. Oh, and there's
D.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. D.
7.
D7. You're saying it like there's a right or wrong answer. There's no right or wrong answer. Okay. Well, here it is.
You frightened me. I didn't know we were doing this.
D7. Okay. Well, it's interesting because it's going to interfere a little bit with the viewer mail, but it's a combination.
Oh, okay.
Actually, then, you know what? I'm going to take the question that you had. The question is, what brings the most joy in life, and how do you make time for these activities? That's the question. So what makes the most joy in life?
What makes the most joy in life? It's going to sound so
mundane.
Yeah, and so
pedantic,
cheesy.
Your kids.
My kids.
Of course.
I mean, is there another answer? Like,
No.
I feel like if I didn't and they were listening about, but it really is.
Of course.
And sometimes it actually, it's I think it's also the most guilt I feel, because sometimes they'll be like, you're tired, you're like freaking out. There's no like SAG after SAG. The world is falling down, and my daughter looks up like, "Can you play ping pong with me?" And I'm like, "I can't do this right now." And then I'm like, at night at like 3 a.m. when she's asleep, and I'm like, "Why didn't I do this?" Because I say it, I feel it, but at that moment I'm like, I can't.
You'll never get that moment
so
back.
it's like the most joy and also the most hurt, I feel.
And so it makes total sense that spending time with your kids is the most fun. Although it's the good kid, the bad kid you hate. Come on, let's be honest. You have 3, right?
He's not the bad kid, but my son does not. He's like, we drove to San Diego yesterday to see my friend in a show.
Okay.
So we were in the car for 5 hours together. And I was like, are we gonna chat?
Right.
Do you want to? No, I'm not sure. Fell asleep for a while, was on his but I think we might have exchanged maybe a
Right.
sentence
Sometimes
or two.
sitting with your dad,
Just sitting there.
sitting with, is an exchange. Is an exchange.
I was like, well, we did for 5 hours, so I
Okay.
felt like we did something.
How old is he?
He's 12.
Okay, so I mean,
How old's yours?
he's 22.
22.
22.
Wow.
Sometimes that exchange of sitting in the room and talking about nothing is really talking about something.
Okay.
And so
I don't feel that bad. I was like, okay, we did something.
No, you should feel bad. No, I want you to feel bad. That whole was a wasted trip. 5 hours.
5
You
hours
got no
we had-
insight into him
literally,
at all.
My wife was like, did you talk about this? Did you
Right.
talk about this? I was like,
No.
I have a picture which I want
Right.
to show you of him learning like
Right.
this.
No. Okay. All right. But no, it's good. I think, one of the reasons, people go to baseball games with their dads is so that you don't have to talk. You can talk about the game.
Oh, that's-
You talk about that other thing. And men don't often talk with each other. They talk. I mean, I'm a talker, but
I'm a talker,
a lot of guys don't talk. They talk looking
Yeah.
at something else, and they talk around things, but they certainly don't talk about their feelings. They
Yeah.
talk about facts and stuff like that. So, it's hard to sort of really get in deep sometimes, and to force that deep conversation is awkward and stupid sometimes. So I don't know. I think what you did, having that 5 hours, think of that 5 hours as prelim to another conversation you're going to have later. That gives you permission to have that conversation because you sat in a car, listened to shitty radio for 5 hours.
We listened to a bunch of podcasts,
Exactly.
by the way.
Okay, good. This one? Did you listen to this one? No. You will.
I will listen to this
Okay.
one.
All right, very good. I want your son to be an avid fan, a subscriber to Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan. Okay, so I'll bring to the next thing, which is the viewer mail section. There's a jingle we hear.
Oh.
Now it's time for listener mail.
And this is from Mike, and this is why I say it overlaps. Mike wrote, do you think funny people are happier in life than people who are very serious? And then he wrote, what is the point of life? Is it just to be happy? So let's take it in two parts. Are happy people, are funny people happier than serious people?
That's such a hard question.
I know. Well, hey, it's not my problem. It's yours.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
you're not going to help me answer?
No.
I thought you don't be alone.
I'll
happened to
jump in
Don't
a
Be
second.
Alone?
I have an
Okay.
opinion, but I want to hear yours.
So just from what I've heard, because of all the comedians that I know, like
Right.
Robin Williams,
Sure.
and I mean, there's a
He's
list
happy,
of them.
right?
Oh,
Oh, wait.
man,
Oh,
so
did I miss
sad.
something? Was there a piece of news I don't know about?
Oh no.
Okay.
But I've heard that I'll have to say of my own self, because growing up in Calgary,
Right.
not being very good at basketball or ice hockey, which is what everybody was playing.
Right.
How you find your way to sort of fit in was to make, like, I would make jokes in class.
Sure.
Like, I was the class clown. So there is a little bit of like coming from the like hurt is
Right.
where the humor comes from. So I do believe I mean, I don't know how, I'm not very the serious person or whatever they're saying, but
Right.
but I would say, yeah, I mean, I think it's
Okay.
I think
But-
everybody
but I
has
mean,
their
there's a
trauma.
thing-
Everybody has their trauma.
Of course, but the thing, the sort of stereotype is the comedian is an angry, sad person who is covering their sadness with humor because and you're funny in Calgary because you're afraid of getting beaten up. So
I don't know if I'd take it that
But I mean, that's the
far.
stereotype.
Yeah, yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I disagree with the stereotype.
Okay.
So I feel like that there are just as many miserable, serious
That's
people
what- yeah.
as there are
I think we're-
happy, funny people. And it's better to be funny than it is to be serious because life is better when
That's
you're
true.
funny.
That's true.
Life is better. The more laughs, the better.
And also, there's a little bit of joy you get from other people laughing. You know what I mean? Well, you seeing other. So there's a little bit.
And
So
this
you're
is-
getting a little bit of joy from
Right.
that.
That's a successful life strategy of making people laugh and laughing at other people. That's a successful
I'm
life
not saying
strategy.
that people don't enjoy making people sad, because
Right.
I'm sure there's a little bit of.
What would you wish upon your kids? You don't wish them a serious life.
That's
You wish
right.
them a joyous
Yes,
life.
you're right. You're
Right?
right.
Okay.
See, this is why I need.
Yeah, well, that's why we don't. This is why we
not-
shouldn't
we're
be
not
alone.
alone. We're
Yes,
not
we're not alone. And then here's the bigger, tougher question: what is the point of life? Is it just to be happy? Is happiness the point of life?
I'm gonna answer this simply and just say, Yeah.
Okay, you're wrong. Okay, wrong. Let me tell you why.
It's like a yes. Okay, yeah, you tell me.
No. Maybe you could be right. I think the point of life isn't necessarily to be happy. I think the point of life is to experience life in its joyous moments and its sorrowful moments.
Yeah.
And that accumulated experience and how you handle each experience and maybe how you handle the next one differently or better and how you grow is the point of life.
Well, I think ultimately, see, I mean, I'll sort of amend my answer is that, yes, there is the goal to be happy, but obviously you can't, there has to be a dichotomy. Otherwise, how do you know what, you know what I mean? There's the sorrow that has to happen, or how would you even realize, you know what I mean? That there's...
Right, but you have to, I mean, life isn't 100% happiness. Life is a lot of trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
Life is about, sometimes you audition for that great part and you don't get it. And it's a kick in the teeth. And sometimes you do and it's fantastic. And then it turns out to be one of your favorite things. Like there's triumphs and failures and mistakes and lucky accidents and...
But are we not all, like... I guess this is what an existential question, but like, is not what we're all striving? Like, what are we striving for then? At the end of the day, the goal is like, because he's asking you what the point is,
on your deathbed.
What's the goal?
Right. What happened?
At the end of the day, you're going to be like, people are going to ask you, well, were you happy? Did you enjoy your life? Is there a point?
I think at the end of the day, they said, what did you
accomplish?
What did you accomplish? What did you do? What did you learn? How did you grow? I don't think they're going to ask if I was happy.
Really? I was like, did you do everything that? I guess that's right. Did you do? But that also makes you, like, accomplishment is what makes you happy, right? Like, and some people it's not. Some people just want to be content.
Right. And some people enter into stupid things like podcasts, thinking it's going to make them happy, and then it turns out to make them miserable. It's the saddest thing in the world.
Oh my God! Did I make you miserable?
You don't know. You don't know until you do it, and then you try it, and then you realize, oh, this was a terrible, terrible mistake. But we'll know, soon enough. But no, it's the experience. Again, my son, 22, I wish him great things. I also wish him early on to make some terrible mistakes. Yes. I wish that he would have a horrible girlfriend early and not later. Yeah. I want him to have a terrible job early and not later.
But so the goal would be so that he would be happy.
Exactly. So he'll have an experience and learn from that experience and grow. And so later on, as he matures, he knows the difference and he knows what's right and he knows what's true for him and all those kind of things. So I think a life of happiness is not necessarily a life of learning and growing and a life of action.
Yeah.
What did you do? Who did you love? Who did you help? Who did you hurt? Who did you like? All those things. Those are questions about life. That's the point of life. If there is a point. That's the point.
If there is a point, yeah.
If there is a point,
yeah.
I mean, that's if that's Mike. If that was your question, I've thoroughly answered it.
Did he have another part to it, or that was it?
No, that was two parts. Do you think funny people are happier, and what is the point of life, and is it to be happy? And so I don't know. So
very deep.
We can't do better.
Very deep.
It is very deep. Okay, and I'm going to ask you one more thing, which is this is the moment of joy.
A moment of joy.
So I asked my guests, because I don't have enough joy in my life, what is the thing, and you can't use your kids because you already said it.
I already said my kids.
You already said your kids.
Yeah.
What's something in life that just makes you happy?
It just makes me happy.
It just makes you, and maybe the incest scenes in Game of Thrones.
Oh my God, which I have not seen.
When they have nothing, they may come up, and maybe it's too early to answer this yet.
Recently, I don't know what it is because my mind is so like there's so much, as you know. Right. I mean, there's so much going on in the world, and I know we talked about it earlier, but because it happened yesterday, and I just feel like I'm really happy playing poker because my mind is able to focus on like all the math and all the gamesmanship, and I'm like,
but who are you playing with?
I'm playing with
buddies.
Buddies,
yeah. So that's
and
part
we fight.
Yeah,
but there's
course.
a little bit of it that we got into a big fight yesterday, and I was like, there's still a part of it that's like, I mean, we're fine now, but like, there's this, there's camaraderie, there's like gamesmanship, and I mean,
But like if you were playing at that in Commerce Casino, just at a table full of 8, straight-faced, sad people.
No, it wouldn't. You're right. No, it would not be the same
thing. It's not the poker.
It's not.
It's the playing with friends.
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
Because I've tried to sit at Commerce Casino with all those people.
I have. And I think somebody was literally not at some point they were sitting at the table. They stopped dealing with them. They had not moved for like an hour.
Right.
I don't know what's going on.
They may have been dead.
I don't know what's going on at Commerce Casino.
Yes, as long as they every now and then they seem dead, and then a second later they order noodles. Then they come back to life, and then they seem dead again.
Wait, that was me.
Yeah. But that's great. All right. Well, that is a great moment of joy. All right. So I think that's one more shot at me. So what would you be surprised to burst out of my little corner of the world?
Yeah.
What would be for you?
Yeah.
What would you be surprised at? Oh, Jake Hogan. What would, like you heard a week from now, 2 weeks from now, Jake Hogan does X. Like if you heard Jake Hogan was arrested for doing Molly.
Oh my God.
For doing Molly. Would you be surprised at that? Would you think that, like, I'm trying to think of things people don't necessarily think of me doing. Like, I don't do Molly.
I think I would be really. I think I would just be shocked at the first. Like, we don't even have to get. I think I'd just be shocked. Jake Hogan was arrested.
Right. Okay.
I think I'd be really shocked.
So maybe that's how I break out of my little preconceived notions.
Arrested?
I have to get arrested, or I have to.
I'm so glad I could help you. Now, how do we get you arrested?
That I can do. I can figure that out myself. There's lots of ways to get arrested, so I'll take care of that myself. So Rizwan, thank you for being here. It's such a pleasure. I want to thank you for coming. I called you and you came, and it's so nice. And
that was so much fun.
And I can't wait to play poker with you. I'm going to hold you to that.
No,
absolutely.
I'm gonna take your money.
Does Hussein play? Does he play?
He plays a little bit. Then he can only do like he has like an hour. And then he's like, I can't do it anymore.
He doesn't play. That's telling me he doesn't play. He's not a player. He's playing to sit with people, but he doesn't play.
Oh my God, you have to come.
Okay, I'm in. All right. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for sharing your time with me, some of your stories with me. I appreciate it, and now like I want. I'm trying to figure out a nickname for people who watch this show. Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan. I'm thinking of Don't Be Aloners.
Oh,
maybe.
That's good.
Is that good?
Don't Be Aloners.
Don't Be Aloners.
Be Aloners.
Or it's DBAWJK. So
you can't even
debauchers. I love both of them. Thank you, and I thank all the debauchers out there for tuning in, spending time with us. Now I want everybody to go out in the world and share something with someone, and we'll meet back here next time. And remember, there's a great big world out there waiting for you, so don't be alone.
I love that.
Isn't that nice?
I love it.
Don't be alone.